Hello everybody, they call me Muse and I welcome you to the Shadow of the Erdtree Mega Play, in which I am going to be playing through Elden Ring's DLC with 4 different characters to see a pretty broad swath of what's available in the DLC. So yeah, for those who are unfamiliar, a Mega Play is simultaneous Let's Plays with different characters or different play styles to try and get a good view of everything a game has to offer. And I did an 8-character Mega Play off the base game, because at the time we had 8 cats, so I made a character for each cat. We've now got 13 cats, we've got those 8 plus 5 more. But I've decided, because the DLC is smaller, we're just going to bring 4 cats along for the journey. So we're starting off today with our strength character of choice, which is Wes. Now, the original 8, it was 2 strength, 2 dex, 2 faith and 2 int characters. I've chosen Wes as the strength character to come to the DLC, in part because he was the first character to claim the title of Elden Lord. So I feel like that was an appropriate thing to do. And his big pickaxes, Unga and Bunga, have just done all sorts of work for him in the past. Seems I can't attack people now. This area is now a pacifist area, probably because of that NPC who's hanging around up there. So we should probably go and chat to them. Hello.
Ah, were you guided here by kindly Miquella? I am Leda, and like you, I was guided by faith along his honorable path. Touch the withered arm, and you too will be transported to the realm of shadow where Miquella the Kind now dwells. My compatriots are there already. Like us, they have heard kindly Miquella's call. If you can find them, they are certain to lend you aid.
Well, that's good. Aid might be necessary, because I've heard this DLC is pretty dang tough.
Come now, touch the withered arm and travel to the realm of shadow. I will not be far behind. May we meet again.
Thanks, Leda. We will probably see you in there. Let's touch this withered arm then and get this show on the road. And here we are. It's all dark again, so let's pop our lantern back on. It does very little to assist us. Map is non-existent at this point in time. Nothing we can do behind us. Very good. So I guess we're going to head on out and we're going to get the traditional FromSoft big reveal. I wonder what the frame rate's going to be like out here. There it is. Whoa! The gravesite plain, with a twisted mockery of the Erdtree up there in the sky. Now, if it's anything like the big reveal from the base game, we can already see a lot of the points of interest around and about. So, yeah, those little ruins over there, that big tower in front of us, that tall tower over on the right, these are probably all places that we're going to visit and are going to be useful. Now, which way to go? Because with 4 characters available, I'm going to want to go in 4 different directions. But as Wes is the first, it might be nice if he goes in what's supposed to be the quote-unquote right direction. But I don't know which one that is. So we'll just get back on old trusty Torrent. And let's see. I feel like straight ahead. Yeah, and then some of the following characters can go left or go right. So we've got all these graves. Oh, we've got materials. What are you? Do you want to rumble? Is that it? Well, we can rumble. I like those discs you're wielding. They're pretty cool. But get wrecked. Okay, that's a promising start. We've killed our first enemy without too much difficulty. So yeah. Oh, there's Big Torch Boy. My knowledge of this DLC is incredibly limited. I have watched the trailers like once, twice. And that's about it. So, yeah. I don't know much of anything. I've seen the names of a couple of bosses here and there. thanks to videos that other people have posted that I haven't watched. But this looks to be a map, and that looks to be a ghost. So there's a map of the Gravesite Plains. And this area seems pretty large, all told. Looks like there's another area over to the right, perhaps. And then there's what appears to be some sort of catacomb type thing there, maybe. But in front of me is a point of interest, so that's probably a good starting point. And then we've got a road leading up. That looks like a legacy dungeon. Maybe that is too. Let's just stroll on up, see what's going on. You there. Everyone burned to cinders, burned away. Put to the torch by Messmer and his lot. What did we do to deserve such a fate? We merely lived our lives, we lived in peace. Okay. Messmer, I believe, is the final boss of the DLC, but I'm not 100% on that. The Scorched Ruins, that makes sense. These guys can be targeted. Okay, that's because they are in fact trying to ruin my day. Let's see what we can do about them. Oop. Lock on, Wes. There we go. Okay, show them no Corsa. I was going to be nice and just walk past you all. But not if this is the way you're going to play it. You're going to get unga-bungered into oblivion. And we're going to get some Rada fruit for our troubles. And a broken rune. And one of our messages was appraised. Lovely. Oh, hello. Yeah. These guys are not really much of a challenge, which is cool. More Rada fruit. I'm assuming that's a crafting material. So the Scorched Ruins is our first real area. A hefty cracked pot. That feels like a crafting material as well, so maybe there's new types of throwables that we can make. They require hefty pots. Not resin and white flesh mushroom. Yeah, it's all just craftos at this point. Now we've got people throwing things at us. Kind of rude. So you can have some of that. Oops. At least we staggered him slightly by jumping at him. Now, we've got an item over there. This is just the edge of the ruins. So these might have been good people at one point. Assuming that Messmer is a bad dude. Grace of Potentate's cookbook. Okay. That might be worth a look, if I can remember where to find cookbooks in my... Where are cookbooks kept? Here we go, they're under key items. Great Potentate's cookbook. Allows us to make hefty fire pots. Cool. No, nothing much going on up here. Little side route though. Which leads to not much. A black firefly. And yeah, not much else. We're kind of at the edge of these ruins. I still see you over there, big torch lad. One of the few things I know is that you are going to try and kick fireballs in our face if we get too close. So we can get up there because there's an item up there, but do we do it from this side? Or do we have to drop back down? There's some stairs over that side. Right, there's a scorched dog. So down he goes. And there is a flight of stairs. And a Shadow Realm rune. Number 2. So is that like golden runes but bigger? There might be a lot of looking at inventory in these first episodes. Right, lets you gain 10,000 runes. So it's equivalent to a regular Golden Rune 13. Cool. I guess everyone is expected to be fairly high level by the time they come here. It's all pretty cool looking around here so far. Setting the scene, as it were. Now, this hasn't actually allowed us to get that item I saw below though, has it? Unless we drop down there, perhaps. But then we've also got a door and a prize. The Blade of Mercy. Okay, that would be a weapon of some sort, I guess. Oh, it's Talisman. Okay, raises attack power after each critical hit. So you get a crit, and then it buffs your attack power for a little while, I guess. Hornsent employed this to honourably end the suffering of a compatriot. The dagger is now broken, but it's acquired a spectral aura. So who's Hornsent? Oh, it's raining. Good. Now would probably be a good time to go and fight that big torch boy. If there's ever a good time to fight that big torch boy. And then that's just a black firefly. Very well. Now, how does one safely get down from here? Guess like this. Okay. Cool. Right, come on then, big torch lad. Oh, actually, Sight of Grace. Don't mind if I do. And that one is the Scorched Ruins. Yeah, makes sense. Now, yeah, this guy's going to kick a bunch of fireballs in our face. He's not a nice guy. Maybe he's the one that scorched the ruins. No, you haven't seen us. Okay, he's seen us. Oh dear. That was a bigger attack than I was expecting. And there goes Torrent, which I was expecting, to be honest. But yeah, how is one supposed to defeat this guy if he's just going to do this? Especially if you can't roll away from his attack because of the plane that follows it. And also, we were dealing, like, no damage. So it's time for puss number 2 to enter the fray. And representing the stat of intelligence, we have Cherry Bomb. It was a choice between Cherry and Trace for our second puss, and we went with Cherry just because she's actually a spell slinger, whereas Trace basically just became another sword swinger. So Cherry and her rocks and her moons are going to be tackling the DLC today. Now, we've explored the early areas on Wes at this point. It feels like... I mean, Cherry's going to want to go other ways, but it feels like a good start point would be to grab that Scadu Tree fragment that's available over on the left somewhere. Just because it makes sense to grab that now that we know about it. And then once we've done that, we'll start exploring in a different direction to the one that Wes went in. So we won't go into that big castle on the left just yet. We'll probably come back to this first Sight of Grace and go right and see what's over there. If anything. Oh yeah, we haven't got the map yet, so that would probably also help. There we go, now we've got the map. So maybe we'll go and have a look at that. Is that just going to be another mausoleum like the one we found on the left? Who can say? Well, we can. In a short while, when we actually get over there. But yeah, Scadu Tree Fragment seems to be a good first bet. Especially because Cherry is not the toughest of characters. She's got fairly low HP compared to some of the others. Very high int though. Most of the characters are trying to get to like 60 HP at least, but Cherry's points needed to go on int because she needed like 80 int to be able to cast some of her moon spells. So all being well, she should do good damage to things. It's just a case of will she be able to survive more than 1 or 2 hits from the enemies in the process. Right, at least we know what we're doing early on. It's only taken us like 2 minutes to find this spot now, which is nice. Let's get that blessing in place. Now, we should probably just chat to these lads again. Yep, together we work. Many things we have found. Wait a minute, many things we have found. Are you just Gavlan, but a human? I feel like you are. And let's touch the cross. Chat with Ansbach once again. Cool, there we go. We've chatted with Ansbach. We know about Cross Quest. And now let's go back and go right. So we could roam right alongside the cliff edge, I suppose. Get another look down at that red area that we've seen before. Yes, there's another torch lad down there. So they're not bosses. They're just big, strong boys. And then we've got an item of some sort. It's a lump of flesh. And it sounds like an ambush, so let's just not even stop to see what's happening. That's how you get caught up in ambushes and beaten up. Not much along the cliff edge, but... what are we looking at there? A dead dragon? Some sort of spine through its head and a big hole where its body used to be? And another torch lad. Interesting. And then we've got, what? A big rocky bridge? Potentially. That could be a spot where a painting could be located. But we haven't got the artist's shack on Cherry yet, so we won't worry about that. Is that a cross? No. It's just one of those ghostly gravestones that's a bit more impressive than the regular headstone. And then, yeah, just cliff face. There's nothing much in this direction except the point of interest that we're headed to, I don't think. And is that point of interest? Looks like it. What do you have for us? This is the Church of Consolation. And it has a man. That man has a big hammer. How does he feel about Rocksling? This is a question I have to ask myself all the time. Oh, we hit another one. Alright, calm down, Velstad. Jeez. Okay. He's keeping his shield up, which is a pain. Maybe we need to switch to blades. Yes, get wrecked, son. Got him. And we got the Black Steel Great Hammer. Wow. Now, we just need to not let this dog kill us. Some sort of flaming... blood flame dog, almost. Now his mate's given up and wandered off. With that hammer. It's a great hammer. Strength, dex, and faith. Weapon of the Black Knights, servants of Messmer the Impaler. Okay. Blessed with an Erdtree incantation. So dex, strength, and faith seems to be a regular combo that weapons have on them. Guard counters cause a burst of power. Wow. So yeah, that would be ideal for Noob if we'd brought him along to the DLC. Maybe we should go grab that talisman that Wes found. Oh, you're already dead. Good. The one that increases FP over time. Messmer Soldier Greaves. So that was just a regular Messmer Soldier. Oh, and there's another fragment already. Sick. So this area seems maybe a bit bigger than I thought, because there's a whole area over there. Sight Grace would be nice. We got a waterfall tumbling down. Is there anything behind said waterfall? It appears not. We've got more blood flame dogs. Which can survive a rock sling. Oops. I forgot I didn't have my sword out. But nice, we got some flashback. And we got some sort of camp over here. Mesmer's soldiers, I guess? Bam. Get rock slung, everybody. Once again, there are a few problems that Rocksling cannot solve. Now, why have we cleaned this place out? So we can get a fire coil ×2. And some smithing stones. What's a fire coil? Is that a crafting mat? Is it a tool? Ah, there we go. Used as FP to conjure tiny fire snakes. Cute. FPS is a bit up and down in this area, but maybe that's fine. It's just standard Elden Ring behaviour. Move into a new area. Enjoy your super low FPS. And that seems to be it for this side of things. A lot of bloodstains down there suggests a lot of people have tried to launch themselves off cliffs and whatnot. And they failed in the attempt. So I guess our only real option now is to keep going forward. Unless we want to dip back to the left and try and pick up that talisman. Which I think we shall. I don't want to retread too much common ground in these early episodes, but if I do find something that's particularly useful for a character, then it just makes sense to collect it, doesn't it? I'm not going to deliberately hamstring myself just for the sake of not repeating content. But I'll be quick. It'll only take a minute because we know where we're going now. That's the thing, isn't it, with this game in general? It's like, once you know what you're doing, things become so many times easier. Specifically, once you know where you're going, things become much easier and you can find your way around in a fraction of the time it took on your first attempt. So, we don't need to worry too much about Prospect Town. But if we skirt around it, then we should be able to get to that church without too much trouble. Feel like I'm going the right way, so just avoid trouble. Bunch more burned blokes by the look of that. Burned dogs. Ghost Glove Walk 4. That's the point. We're going to have to get some cool new summons on the go, rather than relying on old Mimic Tier over and over again. Here we are. So, how does Cherry get on against these spinning disc boys? Well, they managed to hit her, so she's already doing worse than worse. Ouch. Yeah, let's just wave our blades at each other until one of us falls over. That worked. And that should give us access to this talisman now. And then we'll have to consider which one we're replacing as well. Cool, so what have we got? Erdtree's Favour, which we need because our endurance is very low. Raises potency of sorceries. Greatly raises potency of sorceries. Oh yeah, Halig Drake Talisman 2, boosting holy damage negation. That doesn't seem terribly useful right now. So, slowly restores FP. How slowly are we talking? Very slowly, in fact. But that's fine, because it's better than nothing. So camp number 3 enters the arena, and this is Little Sammy. So, Samus, or Sammy as we generally call her when she's not in trouble, is our dexterity cat. We're going to just head straight over to grab one of those little fragments that we need, the scatter tree ones. And it'll be a good test for her in her double twin blades that she utilised to great effect in the main game. Could have picked her or Annie really with her double whips, but I felt like giving Sammy the nod just because she was the first cat to defeat Malenia, Blade of Miquella. So bringing her along to Miquella's realm seemed like a good idea. Now, don't think I came across this little spot before, but there we go. Not much going on there. Someone got ambushed. Now, are you an enemy? You definitely are. You were. Yeah, you do appear to be an enemy. So let's have a look. Smith and Stone 4. Very good. Yeah, Sammy's thing, although it's mostly Dex, is also slightly arcane. So she's got bleed and frost on her twin blades. And I'm hoping that'll allow her to mince some bosses. She's also got poison on her bow. So she's well equipped. And yeah, we know how to deal with this lad now. Oops. Although we don't just jump into his shield bashes like that. That was a decent start. Gonna get our first fragment nice and early. And there we go. Fragment 1 get. Did we even pick up the Site of Grace? We didn't. Should probably pick up the Site of Grace when you first arrive in this realm. Now, what happens if we look over here? Just ravine. Yep. We'll grab the map on the way back as well, because that can also come in handy. Oh, we never really explored that hanging tree on anyone either. Is there a purpose to it? Or is it just a macabre decoration? There we go. Is that a cave over there? Yeah, not much going on there. There is some sort of cave. Maybe just a waterfall. Maybe it's not even a waterfall that we can access. It's just for appearance. But there is also this thing. A revered spirit ash. And I'm pretty sure that's not the revered spirit ash we found before. So that's 2 now that we know the location of. So that's handy. I don't know if it's going to be like Golden Seeds from the base game, where there's more than enough to get you to the max. Or if it's going to be like Sacred Tears, where there's exactly enough to get you to the max. I think, not 100% on this, I think the max is 12. You get up to level 12 in each of your things. But yeah, we will find out. Now, let's actually grab a Site of Grace out here. Potentially Sammy could become a Pasta user, but I've tried fists in the past and I've never really liked them, so I'm not sure if we're going to go and grab that Pasta soon on her. Plus, with her being an arcane user as well, I'd like to get some weapons with some inbuilt status effects if at all possible. So Sammy's plan is going to be cross the bridge, I think. We've got Wes exploring to the left. We've got Cherry down in a cave. There might be 2 things across the bridge. We will have to see. And we'll just quickly bob over and get the Site of Grace next to this other cross, because we're going to need it. We could probably tell this lad about a cross, because we've found a second one already. Ah, right, so he doesn't need us to go to the 6 that have already been found. He needs us to find new ones. Right, so that's everything we need to do before we cross the bridge. So let's head back to the 3-path cross. And this time, instead of going left, we're going to go right. So the map doesn't suggest any points of interest really in that region. And I think we looked over some of that before anyway. So, yeah, straight across the bridge we're going to go. See what horrors await us there. See if any dragons want to swoop down and burn the bridge or anything like that. Wouldn't put it past them. Or dudes with ballistas. The Elac Great Bridge. Okay, it's all relatively peaceful so far. There we go, dudes with ballistas. A lost Ash of War. Well, you didn't get me, friend. What have we got over here? More dudes. We'll just ride straight through their camp. That'll confuse the buggers. So yeah, that camp's going to need an explorer, I think. But not while there's ballista roaming about. And we need to check up here for caves and whatnot. So we could just drop down there, actually. We could say, heck with you and your camp. We're going left. And then that leaves a route to the right for our fourth puss. Now, do you want some? You kind of look like you want some. Come on, then. Come and get some. Okay. You didn't actually want that much. They're dropping smithing stones. And Mesmer Soldier Greaves. So once again, Mesmer's soldiers. If you've got an infinite supply of those fire pots, that's cheating, my friend. Although Sammy is basically a helicopter, so that could also be described as cheating. Now, what were you up to? Oh, are those barrels we could have shot and exploded? Maybe. So we're heading up into an area, and I see another map marker already. So that's grand. Yeah. Oh, you're up there, are you, cheeky gets? Lots of you are up there. Right, so this could be a job for Torrent. Riding straight past our enemies has worked before. It might work again. One of them flopped off. I think he wants to come and have a go. You there? Yep. Good. Be nice if we could just bring this whole tower down, but I doubt we can. No. Now, where was your mate who sort of flopped off the cliff? Did he climb back up? There he is. Down he goes. So yeah, Mesmer's lads. They like themselves some fire. Which is fair enough. Who doesn't like fire? It's warm and you can cook with it. It's one of my favourite elements. I guess we can leave those guys up top until we can find some other way of getting to them, if there is one. And so we arrive at the fourth member of our quartet. It's Lady Lulu. Luna, or Lulu to her friends, is our Faith character. She kind of got this by default in the same way as Cherry did, in that Yuki, our other Faith character, is basically just another blade slinger. Just swings around his big sides and causes trouble, whereas Lulu actually does incantations. They tend to be dragon-based incantations, because they're my favourite kind. And that's led her into all sorts of trouble, including burning down the Erd Tree with her own frenzied flame. But yeah, a jolly good time has been had all round. So the lady is here to cause even more chaos in Miquella's realm. We're going to start with a similar process to before. We're going to head over here and grab ourselves one of those fragments. And then we're going to go to the other sites which we know about and grab a few more fragments here and there. And then we're going to make our way across that great bridge and see what's further along in that camp. When she's not breathing on people, Lulu also has a pair of rapiers, which she can do some pretty serious damage with. As well as rot and frost and bleed damage. I think she's got bleed as well. Let's have a look. Yeah, that one's rot builder, that one's frost. Okay, so she's just got the two. But she's also got poison damage if she uses her Ash of War. So, yeah. She is an arcane status affecting machine in much the same way as Sammy is. Now, let's try some Rotten Breath on this here Death Knight. He's going to come on out and try and cause us some trouble. Where is he? Has he perhaps decided he doesn't want any? Is he in range for a bit of Rot Breath? Here he comes. Yeah, he's definitely coming in now. That second one appeared to miss. That's kind of unfortunate. We'll just stab him in the kidneys instead then. And getting some pokes while his back is turned. We've got ourselves the Black Steel Great Hammer. These lads just aren't even trying. They know they can't step to Lulu. And there's our first two fragments. Oh, you get two down here. That's why we had enough to level up a third time. That's good. Right, back to base. I think with Lou, we shall pop round to the left again and get ourselves that thingamajig. You know what I mean. Get ourselves the FP Restoring Talisman. So we need to go that way anyway. We don't need that mausoleum. Although we'll probably end up coming back to it at some point. On everyone. Will we though? Maybe we won't. I'm not sure. Maybe we will. Maybe it'll be an off-camera job. But today we're looking at things we've not yet seen on the other characters. Yeah, it's a few more fragments. A bit of chatting with our dour friend who gives us the map, and with Freya, who gives us some advice, I guess, to get the map. She doesn't really do a lot for us, but she's trying her best. Right, now let's see how many fragments we've picked up. Oh yeah, I feel I've missed one of the summon fragments that I could have picked up on the way here, because there's two summon fragments. There's one in the direction we're going to go.
Many things. Goodbye.
And then there's one
I am but now like
down the way we're about to head. Now, that guy used to work for Moog, and now he's trying to follow in Miquella's footsteps. Are we sure that he's not still working for Moog, and that he's going to try and kill Miquella? Maybe we don't want to tell him the information that he seeks. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll mix it up and we will on some characters and we won't on others. It's hard to say. But yeah, in this direction we've got the church to go to, where we can get our FP talisman, but we can also head over and grab this summon thing. Don't think there's any Scadutree fragments up here, because I would have found them by now, surely. But then who knows? Maybe I have found them and my memory's just failed me already. I mean, it has been multiple hours since I last played as the other characters. It's easy to forget things in that time. But up here we have the Arthur's Shack where we could get that fireproof shield. Well, we can get the clue to the fireproof shield. But then also up here is how one of the ways we could get to the church, right? Yeah, we can come in over here. And then somewhere we can drop down. Are those pigs trying to attack us? Or are they just running around and making noise? Now we've got this lad who ambushes us. So let's give him a taste of his own medicine. Where's he gone? Ouch. There we go, we're getting some stabs in. Took us a moment to lock on to where he was because we was whirling and twirling. But half the time he just misses you with his attacks because of said whirling and twirling. Now, where was the patter? Was it just in the church itself? Because we still need new armor sets for everyone. Okay, there's the talisman we were after for sure. And there we go, there's the Oathseeker armor set. And the patter. Because Lulu used to use the Cypher patter back in the day. We may as well see what it looks like on someone at the very least. Does look kind of cool. So it's a fist weapon, but with range. And an impaling thrust. Kind of cool. But yeah, we'll stick with the rapiers for now. And what are we going to do talisman-wise? Oh, we've got Haligdrake on, so... yeah, that's fine then. That goes on instead. We'll get a bit of passive FP recovery. Now, we're getting pretty close to new stuff. We just need to gallop across this bridge, find our way to the next site, Grace, and then choose a direction to progress. The Elac Great Bridge. Do we know what that means? Is Elac just the name of a place? Is it the name of a person? Will we ever find out? All these questions and more won't be answered this time on Elden Ring. So we've got that road to the right there. Yeah, Sam was going to go straight ahead. Now, was there another fragment around here, or am I just making that up? There's a path down the cliffside that led to a talisman that didn't thrill me. And then we've got that path on ahead, which Sam's going to take, and then we got this road down here, and possibly that road down there. And what looks like a poison swamp down there, because Miyazaki. So Lulu's got places to go, and people to see, and kill. But it looks as though the road is the only real option right now. So on the road we go. Oh, excuse me, gentlemen. Much as I would love to bandy words with you right now, there's not really any point. We're after points of interest, and you guys are not one. Ah, so is that road broken then? There used to be a road across here. It's gone now. Very well. Can I just... thank you? But there is a road further down. I'm pretty sure of this. Yeah, that looks to be a road. But then again, maybe this one's also gone. Yes. Okay, maybe Lulu's running out of options without going straight ahead. Oh, there's a cross. And a site of grace. And a friend. So So which cross is this? Just the same gubbins. We abandon here part of the flesh of the Scadutree blessing. And there's our Spirit Ash blessing as well. Now, who are you?
Oh, hello there.
Hello.
Are you the Tarnished?
Yep.
Lady Leda spoke of you. Another Tarnished. Guided here by Mikola the Kind.
She's been busy as
My name
Leda.
is Teolia. I too am Tarnished. And here on kindly Mikola's account. So, well, here's to new beginnings, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, I'm not much good at anything is all.
That's
I'm
fine.
as weak as a kitten and thick as two planks. I've always been this way, since the very day I was born. I'm afraid the only thing I'm proficient in is poison.
Cool.
Sorry.
So you're a poison merchant. Poison bone darts, poison stones. All sorts. Well, you're an interesting fellow, Teolia. Maybe we'll return here at some point. So that's the Pillar Path Cross. Now, maybe there is something further up the road here that we can get to. Maybe all is not lost, in terms of hope. But yeah, that's clearly a poison swamp. Now let's go back up this way a bit, and then back up onto the higher road if we can.